editor lesson, I'm going to grab some quick text here. And I'm going to do I'll just call this editor lesson. This is a post. This post has some text. Now, what I did is I pasted that in here. It was just some sample text, but what I want you to notice is I had the visual editor on when I pasted that in. What that means, if I switch and I turn that editor off, well, in this case there's nothing. Well, that was not handy. Okay, well, whatever. My lesson is that when you paste something in, let's say I got this from Word, a Word document. Actually, I'm going to do that real quick, open one of those up while I'm talking. If I paste things in with visual on, the visual editor styles come with it. So in other words, it's not plain text. What I want to do when I'm pasting text in is I want to have this plain text there. So when I paste text in, let's say I've got it from a Word document or something else, I can paste it in, and that way I know none of the styles have come through. Because I don't want, again, Word styles in my WordPress editor. So now what I'm here on the visual editor, I've got some choices. First of all, there's a toggle here that gives you some other options. These other options, and the reason they're not pre-selected is the less you do with the WYSIWYG editor, the better, is essentially the thing. I've got the ability here to go and make text green. So I could go here and make that text green. What we don't want to do, what looks very amateur in a website, is when people start doing the, this one's red and this one's green, and all sorts of stuff all over the place. And then we start doing the thing where we take this and then I can, I don't know, making the font size different, doing all kinds of things. What we can do, though, I'm just going to repaste this in plain, get rid of the styles. What we can do, though, is we have some preset styles. So if this was a title section, for example, and then maybe I had, let's just do this. And then that didn't go well. And then I have a list here. So what I could do is I could have predefined styles that are already part of the template. So header styles are one of those. I could take this and instead of manually trying to make it a certain color, I can highlight this and select one of the header tags. Maybe I'll make that an H2. And you can see each one of a header one, H1 is the biggest one, down to H6 being the smallest. A lot of times for in a page, H3 is commonly used. I've got this bit here, paragraph. Well, that's what I want it to be. This here, maybe I want this just to be bold, so I'll just make it bold. Now here's the fun part. I've got 3 items here, and I want to make that item 1, 2, and 3. I want to use bullet points though. So what I would do instead of trying to find a character and make it a bullet point or something is I would just use those 3 items, make sure that there's a hard return after each one. I can just highlight them and I can select. This is called an unordered list in HTML. It means it's a list of items and there's no particular order. I can highlight that again and toggle that off. There's another thing called an ordered list. An ordered list obviously is numerical, and that's here. And I can literally add, and it indents and creates the styles and everything else. So all that's pre-done within the template for you. So that's how you want to do your numbered lists. It does add HTML, so if I turn this back off again, the editor, and go to plain text, I can see that there's an H1 or H3 tag wrapping this up. There's an OLS, remember I said ordered list, an ordered list tag wrapping up the LIs, the list items themselves. There's a strong tag around this, so it does nice HTML markup for you. Now that being said, if I make this word bold and this word, I decide to do, what do I want to do? So let's make it bold again. What happens now is I start adding strong tags in the middle of this. So then I go in here and I decide, you know what, I'm going to make this nice teal color, the word Violet. Now within my code, suddenly I've created a span tag with a style attribute called color that's just on that word. So this whole bit right here, I'm going to copy this out of here for a minute so you can see it. The word Violet within a paragraph now became this giant wad of code. Now, is that bad? Well, it's, if you need it to be a certain color, that's just what it's going to be. But my reason I mention that is you start to turn this into hamburger at a certain point, because then someday down the road you decide to delete that color and change it. So maybe you change it to red, which is this color. And then you decide later that you're going to make it an italic style. So then it adds another style attribute and it deletes the color. And pretty soon you've got all these tags that start to conflict with each other. You may even have an image that is in the middle of your span tag for color just because you were using the visual editor and it just tries to guess how to build the code the best. So visual editors can create HTML code, yes, but the problem is they don't do a very good job of making it neat and organized. So keep things to a minimum on this visual editor and then use the big picture items, things like making headers, using the header tag, things like if this was a paragraph, which it is, paragraph is selected by default. You know, maybe I want this underlined. I don't even know if they give me that as an option. Not very commonly used in web stuff, but again, my list types. Now the other thing with these is maybe I want this paragraph center aligned. Same thing here. I'm going to go heading 2, center aligned, and my list. It's a little tough to center align lists because they tend to leave the numbers and the bullets over there. But those are the basic styling things you want to use a WYSIWYG editor for. Last thing I will say is if you're adding, I didn't want to do that. So that's all we're going to do for now, is we're going to use the WYSIWYG editor in the right way. I won't bother adding images or anything else for you right now. And if you have any questions, of course, let me know.